There was a time you felt like you were in the fight of your life, standing toe to toe with someone who tried to break your spirit. The battle was exhausting, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and yet you are still here. That's not an accident. That's not coincidence. What you went through was divine. Every tear you cried, every sleepless night, every moment you questioned yourself, it was all part of a greater plan. You were not just surviving. You were being shaped, refined, and strengthened for something bigger than you ever imagined. Your battle was part of a divine plan. There is nothing accidental about what you went through. Every situation you faced, every challenge you had to endure, every tear that fell from your eyes was seen, counted, and used to guide you towards something greater. You may have thought at times that life was against you, that God had forgotten about you, but the truth is that everything was working together to push you toward growth and transformation. The pain you faced was not pointless. It was preparing you, building a strength in you that could not have been developed in any other way. You were placed in that situation for a reason. You were not just a random target of cruelty. You were a chosen vessel, and your experience was meant to awaken something within you. It was meant to teach you discernment, to sharpen your vision, to give you the wisdom you now carry. When you were dealing with the narcissist, you might have felt small, powerless, and unheard. It may have seemed like they held all the control, that their words and actions defined your worth. But in reality, what was happening was much bigger. Every time they tried to break you, you were learning how strong you really are. Every time they lied about you, manipulated you, or tried to take away your confidence, you were given a chance to discover who you really are at your core. You began to see that your value does not depend on their approval, their validation, or their recognition. You were being stripped of false identities, false beliefs, and false dependencies so that you could step into your true identity. A divine plan is not always comfortable. In fact, it often feels like chaos when you are in the middle of it. You might have asked yourself, why me? Why do I have to go through this? But the truth is, you were chosen because of the strength inside of you. You were chosen because there is something in you that could withstand the storm. You were being trained to walk with more power, more clarity, and more courage than you ever have before. The narcissist thought they were winning when they hurt you, when they made you doubt yourself, when they made you feel invisible. But in reality, they were part of your training ground. They were being used as a tool to expose the areas of your heart that still needed healing, the places where you still needed to know your worth. What you went through was not punishment, it was positioning. You were being positioned to rise above manipulation, to see through lies, to break free from toxic cycles that had been running in your life, maybe even for generations. This was bigger than just you and that person. This was about breaking patterns. This was about stopping the cycle of control, abuse, and emotional warfare that could have kept you stuck for the rest of your life. You were given the strength to endure that battle because you were meant to overcome it. There were lessons hidden in every argument, every silent treatment, every attempt to destroy your spirit. And as painful as it was, you now carry wisdom that cannot be taken from you. You can now recognize manipulation when you see it. You can sense when someone's intentions are not pure. You no longer ignore red flags. You no longer silence your own voice to keep the peace. You have learned to trust yourself, to listen to your intuition, to seek God's guidance before you allow someone to have access to your heart. This battle was divine because it forced you to look inward. It forced you to stop seeking validation outside of yourself and to start finding it in the one place it could never be taken away, within. Every betrayal you experienced became a doorway to clarity. Every insult you endured became an invitation to rise higher. Every time they tried to break you, it became an opportunity for you to build a stronger foundation. Even the moments when you felt alone were part of the process, because it was in those moments that you discovered who truly stands with you and who does not. You discovered that you are never truly alone. You discovered that you are supported by something far greater than any person who tried to harm you. Your battle was not just about survival. It was about transformation. It was about stepping into a version of yourself that is wiser, stronger, and more grounded than ever before. It was about seeing that you are not defined by the pain you endured, but by the strength you found through it. Your story now carries weight. Your testimony now carries power. Others will be inspired because you chose to rise, because you chose not to let what happened to you destroy you. Overcoming shaped you into who you are meant to be. The struggles you faced were not just moments of suffering, they were moments of shaping. Every disappointment, every insult, every betrayal chipped away at the false layers that were never truly you. You may not have realized it then, but each trial was molding you into a stronger, wiser, and more grounded version of yourself. Life has a way of using hardships as a sculptor uses a chisel, carving away everything that doesn't belong, everything that hides your true essence. The narcissist may have believed they were destroying you, but in reality, they were part of the process of revealing the real you. The version of you before this battle was already valuable, already worthy, but this journey awakened parts of you that had been dormant. It forced you to grow in ways that comfort never could. It was the hardship that made you see your true potential, your hidden strength, your unshakable spirit. Before, you may have doubted yourself, silenced yourself, or questioned your worth. But overcoming gave you clarity. It taught you that your worth does not depend on how someone else treats you. It is not defined by the opinions of those who tried to minimize you. You are not shaped by their lies. You are shaped by the strength you found in truth. The shaping that came from overcoming gave you resilience. You discovered that you could face the deepest pain and still stand. You found out that even when your heart was broken, your spirit could not be destroyed. Each time you thought you had reached your breaking point, something inside of you rose up and carried you forward. That inner strength, that resilience, is now part of you. It cannot be taken away. It was forged in fire, built through struggle, and confirmed through every victory you achieved simply by not giving up. Overcoming also gave you wisdom. You now carry an awareness that only comes from lived experience. You can see patterns more clearly. You can detect insincerity, manipulation, and hidden motives more easily because you've been there. You've lived through the darkness, so your eyes are sharper in the light. This wisdom is not just for you. It allows you to navigate relationships, decisions, and environments with more confidence and clarity. It equips you to protect yourself and to guide others who may be facing similar battles. What once felt like senseless pain has become a source of insight, and that insight is priceless. The process of overcoming also unlocked courage in you. You learned to use your voice when it was easier to stay silent. You learned to walk away when it was harder to let go. You learned to stand in your truth even when it meant standing alone. Courage was not something you had to go out and find. It was something that rose up inside you when you realized you could no longer live in fear. Each small act of bravery, built upon the last, until you became someone who no longer bends to manipulation or control. That courage is now part of who you are, and it will carry you into every new chapter of your life. What you went through also shaped your compassion. Pain has a way of softening the heart toward others who are hurting. You know what it feels like to be misunderstood, dismissed, or devalued, and because of that, you can now show empathy to those who are still struggling. You have a deeper capacity for kindness, for patience, for encouragement. Your scars have made you gentle in a powerful way, not weak, but compassionate. And compassion rooted in strength is one of the greatest qualities a person can carry. The battle also forced you to redefine your identity. Instead of seeing yourself as broken, you learned to see yourself as whole. Instead of measuring your value by someone else's approval, you discovered that your value is intrinsic. You began to embrace your uniqueness, your gifts, and your calling. This shift in identity was part of the shaping process. It removed false beliefs, it uprooted lies, and it grounded you in a sense of self that is unshakable. You now walk with a confidence that is not arrogance, but assurance. Assurance in who you truly are. Overcoming gave you freedom. The chains that once held you, the cycles that once trapped you, the voices that once silenced you no longer have the same power. You have broken through walls that kept you confined, and in doing so, you have stepped into a space of freedom that allows you to live authentically. This freedom means you no longer have to shrink yourself to fit someone else's expectations. It means you no longer have to dim your light to keep others comfortable. It means you can finally live as the person you were always meant to be. You are shaped not just by what you went through, but by how you responded. You chose not to let bitterness define you. You chose to grow instead of staying stuck. You chose healing over hate, peace over revenge, growth over stagnation. Those choices, made day after day, moment after moment, shaped you into someone who not only survived but transformed. Someone who now carries strength, wisdom, courage, compassion, identity, and freedom in every step you take.